All right, let me quickly cut across to Kuldeep Kaul, who's a Kashmiri pandit who fled the valley in 1990s. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time to speak to us, Mr. Kuldeep. If you can give us an understanding of what this film, Kashmir Files, really mean to you. We have allegations coming in from the National Conference calling this entire propaganda, showing hatred and spewing hatred towards a particular community while he regrets what happened with the pandits in the 90s. Your take on Farooq Abdullah's version of Kashmir Files and how you perceive the film.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Farooq Abdullah actually he's basically trying to clear his this thing because what he was mentioning at Kandahar, why we have left these terrorists. So there was a actually stake of around 350 families which was there. So why he is talking of this Kandahar, the terrorist? He has basically fled around 70 terrorists. What about that? He is not mentioning that, which has been mentioned by the DIG Ved.
Kuldeep, how do you remember the 90s? How do you yourself remember the 90s? You've fled from the valley.
It was a terrific. It was a horrified. It was horrified. I left in April, 15th April 1990. But that time it was totally this thing. They were giving the slogans that you should leave your families, you should leave your women's ladies here, and you fled. So this was so we have to save our.
And at that point, how did you look at the National Conference role? What do you think at that point?
This all has been created by the National Conference.
Give us an understanding. What do you mean by that?
That has been created by the National Conference.
Please elaborate. We'd like you to elaborate a little more. Yeah. Kuldeep, we want you to elaborate a little more if you can hear me well.
Yeah, it has been created by the National Conference, which is Farooq Abdullah is just it's an eyewash he's doing. He's total drama boss.
Why do you say that? I want you to elaborate a little more on the role that Farooq Abdullah played at that point in time. He resigned as a chief minister. They stepped back. It was the governor's rule. He blames the governor and the central government, which was VP Singh government backed by the BJP. He completely shifts the blame of the Pandit genocide on the governor and the then central government, saying that they were not even in power at that point. This is what he says. But I want you to clarify on what was the role of the National Conference at that time.
It's not a overnight this thing. He was already in power for 4 years, and when he left, it's not an overnight. This has not happened in an overnight. This was all happening. All the guns, everything was coming up from the Pakistan, and he was supporting that. He has supported.
So you're very clearly saying that it was the National Conference who fanned it extensively.
Absolutely. I totally say that it's a National Conference who has basically done this.
How could he have prevented it, Kuldeep Kaul? How could he have prevented it as being part of the National Conference? He just had resigned, barely months before.
He just has resigned. He has resigned. He has resigned and Jammu had come. He had come just 2 days prior to Exodus. What could have Jammu done?
Now, what could have Farooq Abdullah done? I want you to give us clarity on where we see an absolute, he's completely ignored what was the undercurrent, did not take onus and try to prevent it. These are the allegations against him.
He has not taken the ownership. He has not taken the ownership. He has just fled. He has just fled to London and playing the golf there. He was enjoying his life.
you know, would you say, in fact, Farooq Abdullah, while speaking on India Today, says that his MLAs, he had his national conference members and party workers who were killed, and they themselves, in fact, tried to help several pandits, Hindu pandits, and extensively, they also were attacked by militants, and they are also pained because they have also struggled because of militancy extensively, and that has not been reflected at all. This is what he says while saying that the film, of course, gives a voice to Kashmiri pandits and speaks of what happened to them, but it entirely ignores the help that came in from the Muslim community as well, at least from the national conference. He says his own party members extensively helped.
Who supported the militancy? His MLA supported. He supported the militancy. So if they have to face, they have to face. We have not, pandits have not supported the militancy. So it is purely a national.
Tell us a little more when you say that he's supported militancy, his party has supported militancy. Here, here, you know, Farooq Abdullah, while speaking in an interview, he says one of those militants who came in from Pakistan, in fact, was out there to kill him. He has been under fire several times. He's been target number one for those militant groups.
Story. What has happened to Rubia said? It was all planned. It was all planned. Everybody knows. So this is all story he's giving. He's just a story, nothing else.
All right.
Kashmir Files has been shown some part. Actually, it has not been shown a full. Because
would you want to tell us what the film missed? Would you want to tell us what the film really missed out? Because we know that this, finally, the Kashmir Pandit community finds voice through this film.
Film has actually shown a very distinct root cause. What can a film director in 2 hours? What can he?
Yeah, sure.
He has shown justice to the Kashmiri Pandits.
Do you think, Kuldeep, this film will really take you one step closer to finding your place back in your homeland?
That's what actually, in fact, we want. We want that this Bita Karate, he should be sentenced, death sentence should be there.
That's your ask?
Openly, he has given an interview that I have killed so many people. I have given around 20-25 to Kashmiri Pandits. So what else you want?
This film itself has taken such a political turn. At a time like this, the Kashmiri Pandit community, after watching this film, have you all come out with a resolve? Is there a decision that you all have taken collectively that you all want to do something for the community in a bid to reinstate your yourself back in your state, your motherland?
Yes.
Has there been any resolution as such you all have taken collectively?
No, not. BJP is also trying. They are trying very hard. They have already given some government jobs to the Kashmiri Pandits. Around 4,000 jobs has been filled up where the Kashmiri Pandits are there. So they are trying.
Okay.
But it's a question of around 5 lakh Kashmiri Pandits. The rehabilitation of the 5 lakh Kashmiri Pandits.
Well, let's see which government does what and how to reinstate the Kashmiri Pandit community back to their motherland. All heart going to you, and we know that emotions are running high. This has really opened up wounds, and this film has now at least triggered a debate which was long pending. Thank you very much, Kuldeep Kaul, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.